Do you ever feel like your life has become a marketplace? Your social media, your career, even your hobbies, all feel like a performance, and you're terrified of being exposed as a fraud. We call this imposter syndrome. We're told to meditate, to calm down. But what if the answer isn't to be calm? What if the answer is a form of holy anger? The millennial generation, my generation, was raised on a strange paradox. Be yourself and build your personal brand. We are told to be authentic, but also to curate, optimize, and monetize that authenticity. This creates a pervasive, low-grade anxiety. This is the engine of imposter syndrome. It's the feeling that you are a fraud, just one mistake away from being found out. You feel this at work, when you get a promotion and think, "Oh no, they're going to realize I have no idea what I'm doing." You feel it in relationships, wondering if they'll leave if they see the real you. You even feel it in your hobbies, where the pressure to be an expert or build a side hustle can strangle the simple joy of doing something. Your entire life becomes a performance. You are no longer a person, you are a product. Your mind is no longer a home, it has become a marketplace. In psychology, there's a name for this. Carl Jung, a psychologist who viewed ancient stories as maps to the mind, called this our persona. The persona is your social mask. It's your LinkedIn profile, your customer service voice, your curated Instagram feed. It is the version of you that you present to the world to navigate society smoothly. And let's be clear, the persona is not bad. It is a necessary and brilliant tool. You need a professional persona to function at work. The problem is not having a persona. The problem is when the persona takes over. It's when the mask sticks to the face. It's when the tools we use to interact with the world become the only thing in our inner world. This is the root of millennial burnout. It's the deep, spiritual exhaustion that comes not from working too hard, but from working too hard at being someone you are not. We've allowed the demands of the marketplace, the shoulds, the musts, the expectations of others, the constant drive to perform and produce, to invade our most sacred inner space. We have, in short, allowed the money changers to take over the temple, and we are desperate for a way to clear them out. This brings us to a 2,000-year-old story from the Gospel of John, and a warning. This story is not calm. It is not gentle. It is a story of profound and necessary disruption. The scene is set. It's the Passover, the most sacred festival of the Jewish year. Jesus goes up to Jerusalem, to the temple. This is the center of the world for his faith, a place of ultimate connection, the symbolic home of God. But what does he find when he gets there? He doesn't find quiet contemplation. He doesn't find prayer. He finds a stock market. The text says he found in the temple area those who sold oxen, sheep, and doves, as well as the money changers seated there. Now, to be clear, these services were necessary. Worshippers traveling long distances couldn't bring their own animals for sacrifice, and they had to change their Roman currency, which had the emperor's divine image on it, a blasphemy, into proper temple currency. This was all supposed to happen in the outer court. But the text implies something has gone deeply wrong. The commerce has become the main event. The sound of the temple is no longer prayer. It's the haggling of merchants, the lowing of oxen, the clatter of coins. The sacred has been suffocated by the transactional. And Jesus' reaction is visceral. It is immediate. It is anything but nice. The text says, he made a whip out of cords and drove them all out of the temple area with the sheep and oxen and spilled the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those selling doves, the animals for the poorest worshippers, he says, take these out of here and stop making my Father's house a marketplace. His own disciples are stunned. They can only think of an ancient prophecy. Zeal for your house will consume me. This isn't a calculated business move. This is a passionate, consuming, fiery zeal for restoring the sacred. Now, if we stay on the surface, this is just a story about a historical event. But if we use the Jungian lens, this story becomes a profound psychological map for our own lives. The temple is yourself. It is the sacred, authentic core of your being. It's the totality of who you are. Your conscious mind and your unconscious depths. It is the place within you where you connect to purpose, to meaning, to your deepest truths. It is, by its very nature, holy. The money changers and sellers are your personas. Run amok. The money changers are the voices of your imposter syndrome, the part of you that's constantly calculating your worth based on external validation. How many likes did I get? Did my boss praise me? Do these people think I'm smart? The sellers of oxen and sheep are the demands of hustle culture. They are the parts of your identity that have become transactional. Your hobby is no longer for joy, it's a side hustle. Your friendships are no longer for connection, they are for networking. Your quiet time is not for rest, it's for optimizing your mental health. These things have left the outer court of your life, their proper place, and have set up tables in the very center of your being. And they are loud, they are demanding, and they are suffocating your soul. This brings us to the most important part, the anger. We are terrified of anger. We, especially those of us trying to be good, kind, or spiritual people, often repress it. We categorize it as bad. But Jung teaches us that the shadow, the part of us we repress, contains not just our negative traits, but also our power. It contains our vitality, our creativity, and our ferocity. The anger Jesus shows here is not petty, egoic rage. It is not a tantrum. Look closely at the text. He made a whip out of cords. This is not a blind snap. This is a conscious, deliberate act. He sees the desecration, he stops, and he weaves the instrument of his correction. He gathers his energy. This is what Jung would call the integrated shadow. This is the psyche's own immune system, activated. It is the zeal that loves your authentic self so much that it will not stand by and watch it be turned into a marketplace. This holy anger is the corrective energy you need to reclaim your own mind. It is the part of you that finally says, "Enough. My soul is not for sale. My mind is not a performance. Get out." The authorities in the story, the managers of the temple, are, of course, furious. They represent the ego, the part of us that likes control, that likes the status quo. They ask him, "What sign can you show us for doing this?" In modern terms, what's your justification? What's your permit for this disruption? And this is where the story unlocks its deepest, most personal, and most hopeful meaning. Jesus answers them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." They think he's lost his mind. They say, "This temple has been under construction for 46 years, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But the text gives us the secret. It says, "But he was speaking about the temple of his body." This is the ultimate twist. The sacred space is not the stone building. It's not the institution. It's not the religious structure. It's you. It's your body, your mind, your life, your consciousness. You are the temple. And the most profound part? Even if that temple is destroyed, even if your burnout is total, your imposter syndrome has left you in ruins, and the marketplace has sold off every last piece of you, you have within you an innate divine power to rebuild. You have the power to raise it up. So what does this 2,000-year-old story of disruption mean for you today, as you sit there feeling like a fraud, scrolling through a feed that feels like a marketplace? It means that feeling of imposter syndrome is not, as you fear, a sign that you are a fraud. It is a symptom. It is the holy smoke alarm, telling you that the transactional has invaded the sacred. It is a sign that your authentic self is suffocating. And it means that feeling of frustration, of burnout, that zeal you feel, that isn't something to just meditate away or suppress. It is a summons. It is your psyche's call to action. It is the part of you that loves you, calling you to weave your whip. This is the real shadow work. It's not about wallowing in darkness. It's about integrating your power. Your whip is not for harming others. It is for setting boundaries. Your whip is the word no. It's the unfollow button. It's closing the laptop at 5 p.m. It's refusing to let your hobby become a job. It's turning over the table of, what will they think of me? It's spilling the coins of, I am only as valuable as my last achievement. This is the brave, conscious, and loving act of reclaiming your inner temple. It is the path from imposter syndrome to integration. The story ends with a promise. When Jesus was raised from the dead, his disciples finally remembered, and they believed. The promise is that after the disruption, after the cleansing, after the death of your old, inauthentic persona, comes a new life. A resurrected life. A life where you are no longer a marketplace, but a temple. A life where you are no longer a product, but a person. Your zeal for your own house, your own authentic self, is not a flaw. It is your salvation. So I will leave you with this question. What is the first money changer you need to drive out of your temple? And what is the first cord you will weave today to lovingly and fiercely reclaim your sacred space?